Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
That's the greatest gift besides Yeshua dying for us. The greatest thing we have is a book, telling us what he wants us to do and how he wants us to live. I mean, that's like saying, like, if I could have a book of the future and know everything in that book, I could know what sports team is going to win the World Series in 3 years from now. I could know what the lotto numbers are going to be tomorrow night. I could learn, and I could have a book with all this information. I have found the key to the secret of becoming rich in this country, in this world today. And I'm going to cherish this book because I desire money and riches of the world today. However, we don't do that as believers. It's his kingdom where we're storing up these treasures. But we still have this amazing book that has the answers for us of how to store those treasures up in heaven. It is a powerful, powerful thing. And so we need to value this. I remember when I was first believer, I had a translation that was falling apart, but I had so many notes in this Bible. I got to find it. I think I have it somewhere here. Oh, I do actually. This is funny here, guys. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah, look at this. I have so many notes. This is my one of my first Bibles. There were so many notes in this. I was on a plane flying somewhere. I was traveling a lot at that time, and I left this. And yes, I should have taken better care of it. I agree. But I left this on the seat in front of me, and I walked off the plane. And I got off the plane, and I was walking towards to get my baggage. And all of a sudden, do you ever get that feeling like if you lose your wallet or something, or your purse, you're like just a feeling of emptiness, just a feeling of emptiness. It's like you're losing something, you don't know what it is, you lost something, but then you realize what it is, and you're like, so at that moment, when I realized I walked off that plane without this, that's the feeling I got. And I was like, I made a U-turn, and I had already walked out of the security thing. And I was really panicking, and my heart was beating, just like if we lose our wallet or something. My heart was beating, and I was in a rush to get through the security thing, and I was just, all I could think about was like the notes I put in here and the time I invested in this. And I ran back there, and I ran back to the gate, and I got to the gate, and the bottom I finally got. They let me. The stewardess went on. I told her where I sat and stuff. And she came out with this, a pile of papers and stuff. And man, it was like, what a relief. Everything, my heart just calmed down, and it was like, there's a connection to this. And I remember when I was first a believer, and I saw a Muslim talking on TV. I think he was in Saudi Arabia or somewhere, and he was talking about, this was it was a time they were talking about one of the wars in Iraq, the first war or something. And they were talking about the Americans over there, and this Muslim said something that I would never forget. He said something that non-Muslims don't understand, or he specifically saying Americans. He says the reason why we're willing to kill ourselves, and the reason why we're in prayer, and the reason why we're able to do things is because we don't have a choice. It is part of our DNA to believe what we believe. It's not something we chose. It's become part of us, literally become part of us. And yes, I'm not in any way supporting their beliefs of that, but that idea has to be that's what we need to do. We need to make this become part of our DNA, where something is messed up without us having this. This is His word, and if you think you know this whole thing, you don't. And you could tell, I have a friend, I could tell him any position in any team in baseball, and he will know the player. He will know. And that's a 100% guarantee. You know what? I have friends that are Bible scholars, and I could ask them a lot of things about this, and they could answer a lot of things. But there will come a time where they just won't know. It's just too much information for us to have up here 100%. And we need to study this on a regular basis. We need to read this. We need to hold dear to this. It has to become part of us. And it's not just a paper with words on it, folks. It's not. If you found a treasure map, look, let me put it this way. There's 3 lotto tickets that were winning lotto tickets for the mega jackpot that happened a couple of months ago. There were 3. 2 of those were claimed. 1 of those was not claimed yet. If you were walking down the street and you saw an envelope and you picked it up and you saw a lotto ticket, you went home and you did research and you found out that was a ticket worth billions of dollars, I promise you, you will put a value on that a lot more than if it was just a piece of paper with numbers on it. You know, we need to have that same feeling for this. We need to. And too many people disrespect it. Even believers, they disrespect it. They take it for granted. And when I read, I was just going over Rusty Menzel, this guy I met at Sukkot, and he has an amazing display of all the Bibles of the past. And I said, what is the most valuable Bible that you have of all these ancient Bibles that you have? And he pulls one out, and I have a video on it. It's my favorite video that I've ever did from a Torah standpoint. It's 4 parts, and sadly, not many people have watched them. And he pulled out a Bible, and he said, it wasn't this one, but he pulled out a Bible, and he said, this one. He goes, I said, why is that so special to you? He goes, it wasn't the most valuable one. He has Bibles that are worth a lot more money. It wasn't the most popular one. He has Bibles that are a lot more popular. It wasn't the rarest one. He has Bibles that are even rarer than that. It wasn't the oldest one. I said, why is it so special to you? He said, and he turned some pages, he says, this Bible has bloodstains on it. He says what they used to do. What they used to do is, and he had a table, an end table, and he picked the table up, and the Bible was right there on the bottom of the table, and it was Queen Mary Quater or something. And she was so against people having a Bible that she would have her, the soldiers or whatever you would call them, go in the houses, put the whole family in the living room, and search the house for a Bible. And the family would be around the coffee table, and they would tell the family, you know, if you have a Bible in the house, give it to us. We're just going to take it away, and we'll let you live. But if they said no and they found the Bible, they would kill them. And they would take the Bible and throw it in the street and rip it up and throw it in the street. Now, that was a mistake on the Queen's part, because what people used to do is when the soldiers left town, the people used to come out of their houses and grab all those papers and try to, you know, put something back together. But this end table was one of these instances, because they used the coffee tables where the Bibles were at the bottom of them. That's what they used to do. And they used to hide them on the bottom there. And he had this Bible that was from that time period that had blood stains on it. And that was his most valuable one. And it's an amazing, amazing 4 videos. You guys have to watch it. This guy's name is Rusty Menzel.
What's the title of the video?
Well, what's it called?
How We Got the Bible. If you go, I think that's it. How We Got the Bible, I believe. If you go to my webpage, TorahLifeMinistries.org, or my YouTube page, which you're watching it. You're watching the Hangout on my YouTube page right now. So if you just go, the Health Watchman, if you just go there and you do a search, How We Got the Bible, it's 4 parts by Rusty Menzel. And
did he mention the Queen, the specific Queen that did that?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's just great, and to see those Bibles and have those. And then I went to in Orlando. There's a place called the Holy Land Experience, and you would think of all of this Disney stuff and all this Disney garbage. They have something called the Holy Land Experience, which is a replication of Israel, and it's by Christians. And it's pretty cool. You go in there, and they have people dressed up like soldiers. But, I mean, I don't agree that they were open on Shabbat and collecting money for people to come in, but that's another story. But the thing was, at the end, and all of it was just like plays and, you know, and replications of things. But the really cool thing was it was something called the Scriptorium. And the Scriptorium was just an amazing display of Bibles from the past that people had and everything, and just really a good museum of it. And I remember walking out of that, they have you walk out of a room where, like, people died for the Bible and all these different ancient Bibles, and they walk you in there, you walk into another room, and all of a sudden technology is around you with TVs and phones ringing and computers and everything else, and you just completely forget about this amazing experience you just went into because you're so distracted. And it was really pretty amazing. But I was in Australia years ago, and this lady, I stayed at somebody's house, and she had a Bible that was from like the, I don't know, the 1700s. And I was holding it. This wasn't in a museum. This was in somebody's house. And I was like shaking. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. And she wasn't even a believer. And I was like, you got to give this to me. And she's like, well, you know, I'm not a Christian. However, this is my great-great-grandfather's, and it has sentimental value to me because of that. And I spent many hours trying to talk her out of it, and I wasn't able to do so. So, but it's just a powerful thing. I mean, if you want to feel something, if you want to feel Yah, you get an old copy of Scripture, and you touch it. I mean, it is powerful. All right, I've said a good amount here. So I don't know if anyone's ever had an experience to go or see an old copy of Scriptures and actually touch it and look at the words. And even if you don't understand the words, just to see. And then when you hear the stories about Tidendale and all these others, you know, burned at the stake, live, just because their passion was to get the word in their language out to the people. Amazing, amazing stories, amazing. And it's in Fox's Books of Martyrs. Fox's Books of Martyrs talks about all these people.
Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways, Torah Life Ministries, come out of the world.